Hi, everyone. My name is Colleen Quinn, and I'm here today to talk to you about advocacy. In February of 2019, my son Paul was diagnosed with epilepsy. It took probably 3 months for him to actually get a diagnosis. His seizures started, and they were small and short, thankfully, but over the course from November to February, they progressed to longer, more complex, and several, as many as 5 or 6 within a day. So this is how I basically became involved with the epilepsy community. I'm going to share a little bit about my advocacy story, which links to many different wonderful advocates around the country. So what I've definitely learned is you need to identify what you want to change or create. You need to contact your representative or your senator. Then you need to get your word out, build your base in your community, and then plan your testimony and testify on behalf of the bill. In our case, our first bill that we worked on was Seizure Safe Schools. So in 2019, Paul and I went to our state senator, Jane Beach, and requested that he would do Seizure Safe Schools in New Jersey. We were the 5th state in the country to pass the legislation. It was introduced in September and passed by January of 2020. We met Sherry Dudo from Texas, who was also at the time working on Seizure Safe Schools, and we shared pointers back and forth about how to increase people to help us within our states. We built Facebook pages, did calls to advocacy, worked with the Epilepsy Alliance, the Epilepsy Foundation in our states to pass both laws. We formed Paul's Purple Warriors in 2019 and partnered with Epilepsy Services of New Jersey when we worked on Paul's Law. And in this picture, you can see Paul and I, he's so small there, my best friend Colleen, and our wonderful partner, Liza Gundel from Epilepsy Services of New Jersey. As I said, Paul's Law was signed in 2020 by Governor Murphy, making us the 5th state to create Seizure Safe Schools. And that's our senator there along with us. The Texas story was a pretty difficult story. Sherry Dudo, who herself was a teacher with epilepsy, met a family whose daughter passed away from SUDEP. Her name was Samantha Watkins, and they passed in Texas just before us in honor of Samantha, who lost her life to epilepsy. Sam's Law was signed in 2019, making them the 4th state in the nation. We also met Lindsay Crunk from Kentucky. Her daughter, Lindsay, was the Lindsay Crunk Act of Kentucky, and they passed in March of 2019. They were actually the 1st state to do Seizure Safe Schools. Oh, sorry, my bad. Signed into law early 2018. It's hard to keep track of all of them, pardon me. So after meeting Lindsay and her mom, Cindy, and meeting Sherry and Barbara, Samantha's mom, we decided that we needed to do something to work across the country to help other people be able to pass Seizure Safe School legislation. So I decided we would form the page National Epilepsy Advocates for Seizure Safe Schools. In the page, we would roll call the states, find people who wanted to work on legislation, put them in touch with advocates in their state, or hook them up with the alliance or the foundation, and we would guide them through. We would get letters of support for them. We'd conduct meetings with them to help them plan and talk to their legislature, and we would basically support them and mentor them throughout the legislative process. We were very blessed in that once we got letters for, our states, that we had a great base of support from organizations all around the country, and we used those letters to help other states. So once we created the Facebook page, we had people from all over the country joining. And in that page, we were blessed enough to find people who were interested and wanted to work on Seizure Safe Schools. what we told people was basically start your Facebook page, that you're working on Seizure Safe School legislation, reach out to your representatives, maybe bring examples of some of the states that have passed. At the time, I think maybe there was 5 states that had passed. You wanted to give your state statistics on, children with epilepsy, if that was the legislation you were working on. So the legislators would know that, like, for example, in New Jersey, we're a tiny state and it's over 12,000 kids. And all these stats are available, obviously, on the CDC's website for each state. And explain, how seizure recognition and first aid training is life-saving. You can get your training free from the Epilepsy Alliance as well as the Epilepsy Foundation. You can get it online or in person. So once you got a commitment from your legislator to work on your legislation, you want to grow your advocacy base using your Facebook page or partnering with your alliance and your foundation, whatever is available to you, or even connecting on our page, the page that we created for people who want to work on Seizure Safe School legislation. The formula that worked for us is basically this formula. So we've helped 10 states do it. I believe the Epilepsy Foundation has done it in 13. I think there's 23 states. But this is what we've used in basically every state, and it's been helpful to us. So parents of children who have epilepsy, that's a critical person to testify. If students with epilepsy can also testify, that's a fabulous thing. I was blessed that my son was willing to do it here. And we had some other amazing parents who helped us and testified, and other students with epilepsy who testified. In South Carolina, for example, they just recently passed, and there was a lovely young man, Grayson. He sticks out in my mind because he's a sibling of a child with epilepsy, and he stood up and testified on behalf of his sister. If you could get your child's study team director, superintendents, a doctor, of course, the Epilepsy Alliance or the Epilepsy Foundation or any other organizations in your state, that work on behalf of people with epilepsy. In most states, you can send in written testimony. You can show up and testify. They want you to keep it short, like 2 minutes, don't go over. And just express your thoughts and your views, and they listen. And we made a lot of progress across the country, and I'm really proud of this list. And I hope that everyone is on here that has actually helped us. But for the letters that we've sent for the 10 states that we've helped, we've gotten letters from all the organizations that you see here. And also the Honorable Tony Colello. He was a congressman. For those of you who don't know, he was author of the ADA, and he also is a person who has epilepsy. So one of the first states we mentored was Virginia, and that's the Jamie and Bree Strong Act, and that was signed into law in 2021. These ladies were very dedicated and amazing, and it took them a few tries to get it through. I'm going to play a little clip of the mom and her daughter from Virginia.
Hi everyone, my name is Bree and this is my mom.
Hi, I'm Rowena.
We helped pass the Jamie and Bree Strong Act for Seizure Safe Schools in Virginia. We were the 6th state to get this law passed.
So our journey began when I connected with Miss Sherry Dudo of Texas and Miss Colleen Quinn of New Jersey. Miss Sherry had already passed Sam's Law in Texas, and Miss Colleen was in the process of passing Paul's Law in New Jersey. They both helped guide us through the process and connected us with some amazing advocates to help us get it started in our state of Virginia. We also learned about the Lindsey Crunk Act and learned more about Cindy and Lindsey Crunk of Kentucky.
I was 11 years old when we met with our local senator, and we showed him a copy of Sam's Law and information about Paul's Law.
So I always just say it was a journey filled with blood, sweat, and tears, but it was well worth it because
the Jamie and Bree Strong Act for Seizure Safe Schools in Virginia was passed in 2021 and was implemented this school year.
So we want to thank all of our amazing advocates who supported us along the way, especially to Ms. Sherry Dudo and Ms. Colleen Quinn to helping us get it started and also supporting us through the journey. So big thanks, and again to our amazing advocates and our senator and everyone who continues to support the bill all throughout the United States. The goal is to get it through all
50 states.
All 50 states, that's right. So we know with the power of all of our epilepsy warriors, we know that we can get this done, and Seizure Safe Schools will be in every state, right? We're very hopeful for that. So big thanks again to Ms. Sherry and to Ms. Colleen. They're doing amazing work. Also to Miss Crunk in Kentucky. We want to thank all of you again, and good luck with everything. Best wishes, and we know that we can get this done. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name.
So another state that worked very hard is Maryland. Maryland was the Breland Act, and that passed in April 7th of 2022. Lauren is the mom's name, and they had a super advocacy base in Maryland. So I'm going to let you hear from Lauren.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Schellinger, and our family is from Frederick County, Maryland. The inspiration for our Seizure Safe School legislation is our daughter, Brinley. Brinley was born with tuberous sclerosis complex, and she also has epilepsy and autism. And we started working on the bill in 2019, and it was around the time that our daughter was starting preschool. Our biggest champions were our bill sponsors from Frederick County, which was Senator Ronald Young and Delegate Ken Kerr. It was truly a grassroots effort where we worked with many, many families across the state to share their stories, to do action alerts, send emails, to contact their legislation. We put in the bill about 3 times through the Maryland General Assembly. We worked with multiple organizations across Maryland and across the United States, including the Seizure Action Plan Coalition, the TSC Alliance, the ARC of Maryland, the Epilepsy Foundation, and many other groups. And a really huge help to us was the National Advocates page. We wanted to thank Colleen, Cindy, and Sherry for all their support, all the families across Maryland that advocated together to get this legislation put forth and then eventually passed. The legislation passed unanimously in both the House and Senate in April of 2022, making Maryland the 15th Seizure Safe School state. We're working now on implementation of the bill in Maryland, and it will start this next school year. We're so excited. And we just really encourage everyone to work together until all 50 states have Seizure Safe School legislation. And we just hope you have a magical trip. Hi, everyone. My legislation.
So Arizona was another state that was also found from the Seizure Safe School page. So here's a little clip from our friend Brandon in Arizona.
Hi everybody, it's me, Brandon Berry. I wanted to thank Colleen Quinn for allowing me to talk about what we did here in Arizona with Seizure Safe Schools, with the SB 1654, the Georgia Ford bill. I went to my state senator, Senator Kerr, in July of 2019. It was a long process. We started with the legislation in January 2020, and we almost got it passed, but then COVID hit in March and we had to start over again, and it seemed like it was held hostage in 2021, but we went at it again in 2022 of January, and we finally got it passed in April 29th, 2022, and Governor Ducey signed it into law here in Arizona. And, you know, it was a lot of work. Me, Senator Kerr, members of the Epilepsy Foundation of Arizona here, and many advocates across the state here in Arizona who came and testified. And it was a very lengthy process, and it took a lot of hard work, but I, think especially the people on the Seizure Safe Schools Facebook page, Colleen and many others around the country, and I thank them for their support and everybody involved in SB 1654, the Georgia Fork Bill. Hi, everybody.
So Missouri, another state that came from the page has been so helpful. I can't, we're really blessed to have the page. We met, little Will and his family, from Missouri, and we mentored them through the process. And then Holly Brady sort of jumped in out there to help us. She runs the Purple Peace Foundation there, and she lost her daughter to SUDEP. So she was also instrumental in helping out there. And, you know, they worked the process just like we described previously in the earlier slides and passed Will's Law. Louisiana, we had the pleasure of working with Amanda Mitchell, who is a director in Louisiana for the Epilepsy Alliance. And Amanda's was a joy to work with, and they passed in Louisiana.
Hi, my name's Amanda Mitchell, and I'm the Executive Director for Epilepsy Alliance Louisiana. And always more importantly, I am Jackson's mom. Jackson is my 7-year-old son who has epilepsy. And when I started this work, I was surprised and frustrated to see how many families that would call our office dealing with issues related to schools. We had several families who didn't feel safe sending their kids to school because the schools were unwilling to provide seizure first aid and safety training to the staff. And as a parent of a kid with epilepsy, particularly one who has a history of emergency seizures, it was really important to me to ensure that all kids can go to school safely. And when it was time for Jackson to go to school, we as a family dealt with some of those issues as well. So passing Seizure Safe School legislation was really important to me. And that would not have happened here in Louisiana without Colleen Quinn and the other advocates that are part of the National Epilepsy Advocates for Seizure Safe Schools. Legislation was not something that I had done before. Advocacy was really new to me. And Colleen was really amazing in helping me to understand the process and what I needed to do to get the legislation passed here in Louisiana. So we are grateful for all of the work that Colleen and the other advocates who are doing this work day over day, and really thank. Hi.
So far, approximately 23 states have passed. When I say that, one state was repealed. I believe that was Indiana was repealed. And there are other states that aren't on this list that are actually in progress. South Carolina is a recent state that passed. In fact, I think they are the most recent state to pass. And that was done by our friends, again, from the page, Lisa Stout and Amanda Lancaster Campbell. There's a little blurb from them.
When my daughter was diagnosed with epilepsy in 2018, I did like most parents. I researched. During my research, I found the National Seizure Safe Schools Facebook page. This page was trying to bring awareness to every state in the U.S. in hopes to have all states pass similar seizure safe school laws. This is where I met Colleen Quinn, Sherry Dudo, and Cindy Crunk. Since South Carolina did not have an epilepsy foundation or an epilepsy alliance, these ladies assured me they would help me every step of the way if I decided to begin the process in South Carolina. And they have been with me since 2020. Helping guide me through the process. My first step was making a Facebook for South Carolina called South Carolina Advocates for Seizure Safe Schools. We've used this page to help find other advocates in South Carolina. Other states have similar Facebook pages too. We use this page to keep everyone updated during the process and when we need our members to reach out to certain representatives or committees. Colleen, Sherry, and Cindy has helped South Carolina get numerous support letters from different organizations relating to epilepsy that we send straight to our legislators. Sometime last year, the Alliance partnered with SAFE. It's a nonprofit epilepsy awareness organization in South Carolina to bring the Epilepsy Alliance of America to our state. These three ladies helped connect us to the organization where we had much more at our fingertips and a bigger voice. Not only have these three ladies passed Seizure Safe School laws in their home state, they are helping several other states with their legislative process. They keep me on my toes, never allowing me to let South Carolina's proposed bill die. Even though my state is not in session, these ladies are helping me behind the scenes to prepare for the upcoming session. If you are currently working on your state or thinking about it, please contact Cindy Crunk, Sherry Dudo, and Colleen Quinn. You will not regret it. They will fight for your state like it's their own. When my daughter
Amanda, she was great to work with. You know, South Carolina, we were lucky that the Alliance did come to that state and did hop in and help. And they were the most recent school to pass. Last but not least is our friend AJ in Georgia. I'm not even sure that bill number's right, to be honest, because Georgia passed, and this slide is a previous slide from when he was working on it. But I know the Facebook is correct, so feel free to go to his Facebook after the presentation. AJ was great to work with. He himself has epilepsy, and he's just an amazing young man and a huge voice for the epilepsy community in Georgia now. Ohio is a member of the Alliance, and I know here they partnered, the Alliance and the Foundation of Ohio partnered together. So here's our friend Doug.
Greetings from the great state of Ohio. My name is Doug Simmons. I'm the Director of Advocacy for Epilepsy Alliance Ohio. I've been asked to share a bit about the progress on seizure safe legislation in our state. The process began here in Ohio in the summer of 2019 when, after meeting with several state representatives, seizure safe legislation was drafted, modeled after similar legislation in Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Texas. The bill was named Sarah's Law, after Sarah Leonardos, a young woman who died of SUDEP on Father's Day in June of 2018. The process of getting to committee was painfully slow, due in large part to COVID, but also the fact that the bill did not have bipartisan support despite agreements to the contrary. Unfortunately, the bill had become political. Also at this time, we were encouraged by Colleen Quinn, our new friend in New Jersey, that bipartisan support and a good deal of tenacity was a must in passage of this type of legislation. So in 2021, Epilepsy Alliance Ohio partnered with Epilepsy Foundation of Ohio, and together in 2022 provided testimony in the House Primary and Secondary Education Committee from experts, advocates, and caregivers. And on May 25th of 2022, House Bill 606, Sarah's Law for Seizure Safe Schools, unanimously passed the House. We're now anxiously awaiting for the Senate Primary and Secondary Education Committee to take up the bill this fall. Thanks again to Colleen and for her support, as well as for all the other national epilepsy advocates for Seizure Safe Schools who have gone and are going through this process, and for sharing your state stories. Thank you.
In conclusion, I would just like to thank the Epilepsy Coalition of New York State for having me today. And I'd like to thank Sherry and Cindy Crunk for partnering with me on our Facebook page and for being there with me to try to assist some other states to do what we've done. I'd like to dedicate this presentation to Samantha Watkins, Amanda Brady, and Morgan Rose Hashbach, who are children who lost their life to SUDEP.